By way of background, before the time begins, let me set the stage here. My speech is called The Winning Proposal. It's speech number 3 in my advanced series. And I'm a lawyer who represents venture capitalists and entrepreneurs. This proposal is all about approaching you, the managers of a venture fund, not to represent you as your lawyer, but have you refer me to the entrepreneur, the next entrepreneur you invest in, to represent them in the process. That's the background. So good morning. I'm going to talk about 3 things today with you to discuss. 1 is a big problem. 2 is the solution that I've come up with. And 3 is potential objections and how we can overcome those together. The big problem. As venture fund managers, you are essentially all about the process of finding good investee companies, negotiating a term sheet, a deal with them, and closing that deal as efficiently as possible, helping them grow the business, and move to a successful exit. Every step in the process that you can optimize means you're running your business better and would have better results. I want to speak to one aspect of that with you today, which is the closing of the deal. Venture deals are very complex. It's a very specialized area of law and accounting. Yet few lawyers have the expertise to really understand the ins and outs of a venture deal. In this community here in Michigan, I can probably count on one hand, certainly 2 hands, the number of lawyers who are very adept at this. When I speak to venture fund managers, what they don't like and don't like about lawyers, their uniform complaint is the lawyer who doesn't know what he or she is doing, gumming up the works. So when you have an entrepreneur who has a lawyer who's not familiar with venture, bad things happen. And if you think about the last deal from hell that you closed, you know what I'm talking about. As a young lawyer, there's one deal that I will always remember as the deal from hell. The closing started at 11 a.m. one day and ended at 6 in the morning the next day. Working all night long, one more issue, one more change, one more this, one more that. 2 talented lawyers on a deal could have closed that in a matter of hours. But through inexperience, through fighting about issues that don't matter, there's lots of disconnect and inefficiency in the process. And when that happens for you as venture fund investors, managers, 3 bad things happen. Fees go up, relationships get bruised, and potentially the deal gets derailed. Solution. I don't want to represent you. You've got great counsel already. But I want you to refer me to your entrepreneurs and to incent them to use me. I'd like you to offer the entrepreneur that if they hire me, you will pay my fees to represent them. $15,000 budget. Close the deal. The value proposition, experts on both sides, your lawyer and me. A smoother closing, fighting over the issues that really matter are not the ones that don't. Less overall fees, because with lawyers, the longer it takes, the more expensive it is. And less bruised egos, better chance of actually closing the deal and not losing it, because stuff happens. The longer it takes, the more it can fall off the table. I've been doing this for 27 years. Why me? I've been doing this for 27 years. I specialize in this area. I've closed probably over $200 million of venture funding in my career. I study this. I attend all conferences. I write extensively on this topic. I've lectured and taught at the University of Michigan on these very issues that you're dealing with. What are some of the objections? Why is this not a good idea? Well, let's start with one. Why would you pay my fee to represent the guy against you? Well, the reality is you're paying the entrepreneur's fee in any event, because money is fungible. When you invest $1 million in a company, and at the closing, the entrepreneur's lawyer gets paid a fee, that money his fee is coming out of your investment, whether you realize it or not, obviously, because money is fungible. 2, Why would you want a smart guy like me on the other side of the table? You might think that you're better off if the guy on the other side of the table doesn't know what he's doing. And intuitively that would make sense, except that in experience, from my talking to venture fund managers all around the country, that's not the way it works, for all the reasons I've said. When somebody doesn't know what they're doing, they fight about the issues that don't matter, and you end up explaining to them the process and why this is important, etc. 3, will an entrepreneur hire me if he knows that you recommended me? Wouldn't he be concerned that I'm going to take a fall because I know that my bread is buttered by the venture fund that keeps referring me? That's possible, although I will tell you that I'm not going to be a fall guy for you. This is not about you putting in this position somebody who's going to be easy to deal with. I am going to tell the entrepreneur their options on all these issues. There's 3 or 4 different ways that every issue can be handled. I'm going to explain to them the options, let them make a choice. I happen to have a point of view that you don't want to over-negotiate at this stage. It's much better for the entrepreneur to get 10% of something than 100% of nothing. So fighting for the last dollar does not make sense in my view. But by the same token, there are areas where ventures sometimes overreach, and I can point those out to the entrepreneurs. What if the entrepreneur already has a lawyer? Why would they need me? Well, perhaps they don't. Perhaps they don't need me. Again, I'm not saying that these folks must use me. I'm just saying make me the referral lawyer of your choice. Again, if they have a lawyer who's not schooled in this, however, you may want to have them consider taking a look at me. After all, once you invest in them, you're going to be making lots of recommendations to them about how they should run their business, and perhaps who they should hire. Well, why not start now? Lastly, maybe you already referred. Maybe you already have a list of talented lawyers that you refer to entrepreneurs who are looking. If so, that's great. Add me to the list. And I suspect that you'd be much more successful with that if you add in the fee kicker that I spoke of earlier. So the call to action. I will send you some resumes. Please, as you close deals, ask who the entrepreneur's lawyer is going to be. If it's not somebody you know and recognize as an expert in the field, I'd like you to refer me to them. And include that fee kicker to enhance the likelihood that they will say yes to that referral. Thank you.
Interesting proposal.
Well, thank you.
Very interesting proposal. I guess one of the things that just come to mind, you've always in business heard, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer.
That's a little. You write that down.
Might just be a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Well, thank you, Richard. We need to move on. We are at the point now where we need to move on into some table topics. So we'll get that started right off with a bang. Hey, how about those wings?
I didn't eat them. Oh, you mean chicken wings? Sorry, I apologize.
Well,
There you are, Hooters again.
Did anybody watch the game last night?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a replay of the previous day.
It was.
Wasn't it pretty much?
So
Although the only difference was you could tell that the emotions were running high. Have you ever seen so much humanity in a